Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Escape 2. In the last part, we went through the first boss and beyond, and now it's time for the casino.
Alright, gambling.
Jimmy, I'm sending this gadget to you. Nothing will be out of range with a slingback shooter. Become a sharpshooter with a bit of practice in the trainer. Do you want to go to the gadget trainer now?
Natalie, I said this to the professor back in the first game. No one's calling this the slingback shooter, it's the slingshot. So, slingshot works the same way it did in the last game. When you pull back the analog stick, you actively have to commit to pulling it back and then release, but you can actively, I think, press down the right analog stick to go into a first-person aiming mode that is pretty comfortable. But unlike Escape 1 from memory, you actively... no, actually, yes, I think Escape 1 had multiple ammo types. Like, you got homing missiles, you got explosive ammo that does more damage. This is another one that I tend to have on a lot, but I just prefer to kind of go up in enemies' faces in a lot of cases, just to smack them with the club.
But it's an option. It's an option if you prefer to... if you, as a player, prefer to, like, stay back and, like, snipe off enemies.
Plus, there are going to be a lot of times you're going to need to hit switches. 11 monkeys we have doubled!
Oh my goodness! They're multiplying!
It's great fun to travel alone for a change. And I'm on a terrific winning streak.
I'm drunk!
What's all the commotion, I wonder?
Actually, you know what? I never really realized he has a pretty big amount of winnings there.
He really does.
Oh, Jimmy, what on earth are you doing here?
You see, we accidentally sent the monkey helmets with the pants, and then Spectre appeared and started messing around again, and what I mean is, it's all a big mess.
Yes, so that's why that monkey was causing mischief. In that case, we'd better get going. I'll rush back to my laboratory. For now, you just catch as many monkeys as you possibly can.
Sure, I'll do it!
But I must say I'm a little worried about Pippochi's safety. Why, I've got it. Pippochi will come home to the laboratory with me. Okie dokie?
Shut up.
The professor's right, you know, Pippochi.
Come along now. There's a good boy. All right, then. I'm counting on you.
Disco Fever. So, we got a new enemy type here, of course, in the Black Pants Monkeys. They have machine guns, and they will not hesitate, bitch.
Nah, ain't that the truth?
So, this casino is interesting, and that this is the best stage in the game to grind for money. The slot machines around you, when you hit them, they can do a couple things. It's set depending on the one. They can have nothing in them. They can have a cookie in them for some health. They can have a bunch of money. Or they'll have an enemy. But some of them in specific have an enemy that's a little thief. I think one of them's coming up in like the next set that I destroy. If that thief hits you, they will steal a bunch of your money. But if you then hit them, they'll drop all they stole and extra, and you can combo that with the money from the slot machines to get tens upon tens of money very quickly.
And if I remember correctly, even if you destroy all the machines, if you exit the area and come back, they respawn.
I believe so, and if not, it's just an easy pause, exit stage, re-enter stage scenario, and it just goes real quick. I believe I showcased a round of doing that money grinding down the line, but when you go for all the gotcha items, in the case you do, this is the place to do it. Appropriate that it's the casino that lets you do that, of course, but... Existential body horror.
What was that monkey doing?
I don't know. It's almost kind of weird for me, visually, coming back to Ape Escape 1 and 2, because Ape Escape 3 kind of smoothed out the monkey's design a little bit, like shortened their face, made them a little rounder. It's just always weird coming back to it, because I distinctly remember, I think I played Ape Escape 2 after Ape Escape 3, even thinking about it. So when I came back, it was like, they look wrong, what's up? So some interesting information I came about between parts, just doing some research. This game is directed by Naoto Ota, who is the same director for Ape Escape 3, but he's mostly a Capcom dev. He did a lot of work on the various puzzle fighters and the later PlayStation Street Fighter Alphas. But a very personal connection for both me and Dove. The soundtrack of this game is done by Koji Hayama, who also did the music for Mega Man ZX Advent.
I had no idea. That's amazing.
I'm not sure. Let me check actually if they're the only music person credited on that. I imagine there are probably a couple just because I think Inti has a full sound team. Yeah, there's several musicians listed. Ippo Yamada, Masaki Suzuki, Ryo Kawakami, Koji, Luna Magaki, Nakari Kaida. But hey, that's one of the person. That's one of the people. And honestly, now that I've read that, I can hear some similarity to some tunes here and there.
Yeah, it's like similar notes. Similar style.
So I think the thing I don't really like about the slingback shooter is just because it's a slingshot, it kind of falls into the slingshot from Ocarina of Time's problem where there's only really one puzzle type that you can do with it, and that's find the switch, hit it, jump on the moving platform.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a shame because Ape Escape is a very unique series in that it's a blend of platforming and stealth for the most part that you don't really see together a lot.
No.
So I guess you could argue the puzzle isn't the main purpose of it, but it's noticeable when the puzzles are just kind of there for the sake of having something for you to do rather than it being interesting. Mind you, thinking about it again, it could be they just want to have funny situations for the monkeys more than anything.
Yeah, it's true. Because it's like, for the most part, even though I love the gameplay and how smooth it feels, it is really funny just going into the stages and seeing how they interact.
Monkeys have spread to more locations across the world than I'd expected.
Yeah, and they really went ham on that in 3. Like, that's part of why the TV channel aspect of it works so well.
Mm-hmm.
Monkeys on Parade. I think that's the intro cutscene. I always appreciate a game from this era that actually has a cutscene viewer, because I feel like this was around the time we started actively having options like that in games frequently. I should note, though, Pippochi not being with us in that level isn't just a story thing. There are several levels and sections of the game where you're just not going to have access to Pippochi as a safety net for losing a life or finding where monkeys are hidden. So they do kind of wean you off the, I guess, tutorial aspect in that case kind of smoothly, but I remember as a kid, I started having trouble in the game from this point onward, as a kid. Although I can't remember how far I got on those, like, 1 or 2 blockbuster rentals for the game back when. I think I at least got through the first round of stages. Maybe I got stuck towards the end. Because my biggest rental memories aren't for Ape Escape 2. My biggest memories for what games I rented were Thousand Year Door, which eventually I rented so much that my parents were like, I'm just gonna buy you this.
Oh man, I've had that so many times.
And the 2 GameCube Pokemon games. But that I didn't rent those nearly enough to be considered as purchases. What about you? Do you have any, like, major rental stories like that?
There's definitely quite a few Super Nintendo games that I rented so much every time, or like just renewed the rental and everything, that my parents were like, we're just gonna buy this. Like, it's just gonna be cheaper in the long run. And that would be the two. That would be The Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie, and Aladdin for the Super Nintendo.
At least none of them seemed like they were RPGs, because those were always the scariest games to rent. Because they're such big time investments. And I bet it was even scarier, because growing up, I didn't rent games from the cartridge-based era, because I was just around more frequently getting stuff during the GameCube era on. I never had to worry about renting a cartridge, having to take it back, and not being able to borrow it in time again. so that your save file would still be intact.
Yep.
I may have accidentally inflicted that terror upon my brother once or twice, as I've covered before. Sorry, Chris, that I destroyed your FF7 save file. I know it's been years, but it still feels bad.
Always destroying save files feels really bad.
Jimmy, I'm sending this gadget to you.
The remote control car catches monkeys with ease. Use the gadget trainer to learn slick new driving techniques. Do you want to go to the gadget trainer now?
I don't know why this particular tool is just so synonymous to the series with me. But we got the RC car now. You control where it's going with the right analog stick, you knock into enemies to basically kill them in one shot, and you can use it to go through either small little tunnels or across little tubes to step on switches and act as a secondary U in a way. If you ever get stuck or you want to respawn it in front of you, you can just press the right analog stick in and it will return to you. It does have its own health bar though, so if a monkey attacks it too much, it will explode. Which I think actually might be even able to damage the monkeys.
Possibly.
They played themselves.
Little did they know, the professor rigged it with explosives.
So as our monkey left to catch count rises, this is about the point in the game where the levels start to get a bit bigger, but something I do think Ape Escape as a whole tends to do pretty well is they do a good job at pacing their levels where you'll get like a level or two where you need to catch like 10 plus monkeys, but then they'll give you a smaller one where it's like, all right, catch 8 or 6, at least for the main story par counts. Still an annoying thing for Ape Escape 1 though. Occasionally you'll have to try to use the RC car to make a monkey escape a little fenced in area like that, and the monkeys just won't behave sometimes.
No, unfortunately. That is pretty funny, though.
Dane Bramage.
He wore a hat. He's fine.
I can taste purple. Most of my memory of this game, admittedly, growing up, before I replayed it eventually, there was a part of me that got confused with what was in Ape Escape 1 and 2. Because there are some shared themes here and there, like there was a Japanese castle stage back in 1. And that's probably just a factor of how long it had been since I last played either of them, more so than anything. That does get a little bit into the thing I brought up a little bit. I've already forgotten if that was earlier this part or last time. I think it was last time, where I said, this game by and large replaces Ape Escape 1, but I would rather go back to Ape Escape 1 kind of deal.
Just because it feels a little easy.
Yeah. Like there's a little bit of sameness here and there that just feels weird between the two games. Damage. I think, if memory serves, Ape Escape 2 is the game that fully added, like, each of the monkeys having their own little bio you can go see at the home base. That's, like, a little bit of a like or a dislike or a little personality trait for them.
Even showing like how fast they can run and like some little stats.
Yeah, I think Ape Escape 1 at least had the stats and maybe like a one sentence blurb like likes mangoes or something like that. Ape Escape 3 goes up and above with that stuff though. To the point where there's actually a difference between the playable characters in that regard.
It's not a huge difference, but it's definitely a noticeable one.
Yeah, and it's to the point where I'm not sure when we're going to get to Ape Escape 3, but I still don't know which character I want to play the game as. Like, I grew up playing it as the boy of the two, and I think he has overall the stronger design, especially for the gimmick for the game. But the girl has so many fun little things going on.
Yeah.
If there is something that is a little more noticeable in Ape Escape 2 compared to Ape Escape 1, the levels definitely feel a little more linear. Ape Escape 1's levels, on the whole, had a lot of instances where it was like, okay, you start in this one area, you progress forward a little bit, but then there's like a left or a right path you can go along for extra monkeys. There's still levels like that in this game, but they go for more of the later Ape Escape 1 level structure a lot, where it's a lot more of a straight path with like a branching room here or there. That I think works better for making the set pieces feel a little better in the long run. Albeit it makes levels blend in a little bit at the same time as well.
Top banana!
How are they not annoyed by the monkey screaming yet? Time for boss 2! Oh no, it's you.
Here's one of the Freaky Monkey 5. Well, he's a character.
Let's go!
Oh, now, what do we have here? I'm Yellow, the sparkling gem of the Freaky Monkey 5. Welcome to my ring. Would you care to join me in a match? Oh, please do be careful with me. Oh.
Ugh, what's wrong with this monkey?
Ooh, my body. You can't just simply attack my body, you know. You or me? I wonder which one of us will fall out of the ring first. What delightful fun. Let's get ready to tussle. Thrust attack.
Why does he jiggle?
Also, why did he put spikes all around the sumo ring?
Fine. So Yellow Monkey, he tends to just kind of move about the arena somewhat randomly, occasionally charging at you. And when he charges, if he charges to the exact side of the ring, you need to knock into him once you dodge him to knock him into the spikes to do damage. Afterwards, he will do a shockwave attack in the middle of the arena, and I think it's a little more complicated as you go through. Not much harder than Blue Monkey.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't just go up and smack him. Because it's like he'll just deflect all damage.
Yeah, because, well, aforementioned jiggling. If memory serves, he is voiced by James Carter Cathcart, who was the voice actor for James and Meowth once the voice actor swap happened in Pokemon.
Oh, I forgot he did this.
Unfortunately, I'm really sad that he had to retire due to throat cancer. Like, he was such a good VA.
Yeah, it's really a shame.
Only other real note of attack with this particular boss is that later on in the health bar, he does start to actively attack the poles around the arena to make some pans and enemies fall down that are pretty clearly telegraphed, so dodging it isn't exactly hard. If anything, it could be a restock point, because the enemies can either drop coins or cookies. At the end of the day, though, not a very hard fight.
No.
Now get in my net.
You! That really hurt! Don't get too full of yourself just because you won! I was on a diet, you know, so I wasn't eating my Vita C bananas! I couldn't fight well because my stomach was empty, that's all! So next time, you better watch out! I'll get you, boy!
Huh? Come back here.
But my net! There's supposed to be an earth-shattering net! I guess we'll deal with him later.
I guess so. Stage is 1.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
The only stage in the series I can think of where you don't catch any monkey. Wait, no, maybe there's 1 in 3. Or does... No, maybe you do catch the monkey there, I forget.
Where did Yellow Monkey escape to?
Good question. Thoughts for later.
Very good question.
For now, gotcha. Ooh, that's our first mini-game.
The mini games are so much fun.
We're going to be showing those off en masse towards the end of the game, but like Ape Escape 1, there are mini-games you can unlock. In Ape Escape 1, you unlocked them by getting Spectre coins that were hidden throughout the levels. Those are completely gone in this game. It's just completely random when you unlock them. Although, actually, maybe it's probably random. I'll have to look into it. Like, Future Me will probably chime in with some little tidbit of knowledge I didn't know if I'm wrong. They could do a thing, maybe, where it's like, you get certain items at a fixed point after a certain amount of gacha rolls, sort of like a pity system. But I doubt that's there. Oh, also, now that we have the RC car gadget, a very funny, albeit not very useful thing you can unlock in the gacha machine as well are separate skins for the RC car.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And I forget if it's this game or Ep.3 that has one that's just like a flan.
Oh, yeah, that one's cute.
These games have such personality to them.
They really do. But it's like we were saying with some of the monkey fables, some of them just end and they're downright depressing.
Yeah.
Like, jeez.
Like, a lot of them are based off of just otherwise fables and bedtime stories, but they're like, but then the ending was misery.
Yeah, exactly.
And I can't help but wonder if that forged my modern sense of humor a little bit. But with that, we're going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, and in part 4, now that we're entering World 3, things are going to start to get a little more complicated. See you guys then.
Monkeys!